This is a story about you.
But more importantly, the way you communicate.
You might think it's simple, but don't be so sure. Many researchers have studied human communications and have made communication model that looks like this. But I like to keep things simple, so here's a better way to explain it.
Every person has their own field of experience. A person's field of experience represents every piece of knowledge and experience that a person has. It's kind of like your own personal bubble. Your bubble is different than others because you have different knowledge and, more importantly, have lived different experiences that surround your life than others might have. People who have very similar fields of experience find it easier to communicate and understand each other because their fields of experience overlap a bit. Where fields of experience overlap, that is known as understanding. But we all know understanding doesn't always come easy. So let's take a look at how people seek to communicate and create understanding with each other. Let's say there is a person A. Person A has a message he wants to send. So we'll call this person the sender. In this case, the message being sent is simply, hey. Now, although the word hey seems pretty self-explanatory in its meaning, think about how the meaning of this word could change based on how he says it and how the person hearing it interprets its meaning. This is the message's connotative meaning, its implied meaning. For example, person A may be just casually saying hey to a friend, or perhaps he's saying it seductively to a lover. Or what about if he's yelling it at someone who's trying to steal his car? Each circumstance dictates a different type of message to be sent. And so person A decides how he wants to send his message. This is called encoding his message. Person A puts the message into words, terms, and inflections he hopes the message's receiver will understand. Now let's call person B the receiver of the message. Perhaps person B hears person A and perhaps she doesn't. If she doesn't, it could be for a lot of reasons. Perhaps there was physical noise that prevented her from hearing, like a TV that's turned up too loud or a plane flying overhead, or someone who is talking near her. Perhaps instead there was psychological noise that prevented person B from hearing person A's message. Maybe person B just broke up with her boyfriend and can't stop thinking about losing him. Or maybe she is simply nervous about a presentation she has to give next hour in class. These are examples of psychological noise or interference in person B's head that prevent the message from being heard or understood. Finally, person B has not heard person A's message perhaps because she simply did not understand the meaning of the words he was saying. When people can't interpret a message due to the words used, such as breakdowns that occur when the sender is using phrases or words that are too technical for the receiver, or words that are from another culture, language, or setting, or even grammar or jargon that is unknown by the receiver, this is known as semantic interference, where messages are, as they say, lost in translation. All of these interferences, physical, psychological, and semantic, could prevent a message from being listened to or understood. But let's say instead that person B did hear person A's message and successfully decodes or determines the meaning of the message. Now she has a few choices in the types of feedback she chooses to give. She can give nonverbal feedback, in this case, a wave. She could give verbal feedback. She could give a combination of verbal and nonverbal feedback. Or she could give no feedback at all. Person A, the sender of the original message, has to then decode the feedback and determine if and how he will respond. If he does respond, he encodes another message, and the cycle repeats itself as long as the conversation continues. This cycle, illustrated in the communication model, explains why communication is considered a process, and often why miscommunication can occur. So there you have it, a story about you and the communication you have every day. Don't forget to write down the important terms and their definitions. Here they are once again.